What are some good things that happened in 2020? Rick Astley got rickrolled. Years later, historians will trail about that great event. Truly the highlight of our times. Jake Paul got pepper sprayed and arrested for participating in a riot. Sweet memories. Me and my wife found out we are having a daughter after 6 miscarriages over the last 4 years. And X200B. Thanks for all the kind words, everyone. I can't wait to show my wife when she's off work. The opposite for me. Me and my wife found out we were having our first baby in July, only to suffer a miscarriage a few weeks later. On top of everything else this year, that just topped it off. It wasn't really a planned pregnancy. We weren't actively trying. But when we found out she was pregnant, it made us both realize how much we wanted this. And then it's gone. But taking one positive from it all, we now both know we are ready and will keep trying. Harvey Weinstein was sent to prison. I'm spoiled. I was able to work from home since March. I know for millions life wasn't that easy. Wasn't that pleasant. But I got to spend time with my kids. Time they needed as they dealt with all the stresses of school falling apart. The world going crazy. Being isolated from everyone, friends and grandparents, etc. And just needing us there. And I didn't have to spend 10+ hours of my day away from them for no reason, like I've had to for most of the rest of my life. So, was the year good? No. Was I glad about that part of it? Very much so. And then BSP. I got to be there for my kids when they needed me. I quit smoking in March. And my kids hang out with me more. Edit. I only smoked outside the home. These two happy events are not necessarily related. Hey there friend, I also quit smoking vaping. The pandemic made me really conscious about where my money was going. So I cut nicotine out and have been banking so much more. Now if only I could quit snacking. I got engaged back in May. Because the world was in lockdown. I had to throw out all of my proposal ideas and get creative. I'm a video editor for a living. So I asked all of our friends and family to secretly film themselves with their cell phones saying, "You should marry him because," and then send me their video files. So that I could edit them into a fun montage. I drove around town and found a great spot in the hills with a beautiful view of the ocean. On the morning of our 1-year anniversary, I drove her to our favorite cafe to pick up Big Nuts curbside. Then I took her to the spot in the hills. We ate in the back of my SUV looking at the view. Then I showed her the video on my iPad. And then I got down on one knee and asked her to marry me. She said yes. I almost died twice. But I didn't. Also my brother got married. I graduated college and got admitted in a master's program. +1 here. Although online classes aren't exactly what I was waiting for. As I can't use laboratories yet, masters in structural engineering. But still. Better than staying home feeling bad about doing nothing. Less mental health issues than the years before. That's awesome. I was able to begin the healing process with my issues. 2. I learned to let go of certain things and to keep focused on what is improving. Even if it's only a tiny bit. I'm glad you were able to get a bit of relief this year. SpaceX launched astronauts to the ice from American soil for the first time in almost a decade. It was a little embarrassing having to go to the Russians for a ride. Trump lost the election? I'd say for the majority of people around the world that's a good thing. Yes. Definitely. It's weird how waking up now these past few days the United States just feels a little better knowing he will be out of the White House soon. You can argue different political views from either side, but my main reason from wanting him out was that he was just such an embarrassment to the US. Hearing him speak was nails against a blackboard. No common sense whatsoever. One of the best years of introverts. Because even after all this is over, a lot of jobs will still be in work from home format. I got engaged. We have no idea when we'll be able to get married, but we're in no rush. The conversion of our world currency system to toilet paper. Those of us who were idiots became obvious at a glance. We learned to appreciate sitting in a room full of strangers. God, I remember going to the movies like it was yesterday. I learned that it's better to make a joke about something negative than to express negativity. I've lost 35 pounds. I'm pregnant and it might stick this time. BF and I quarantined together. Decided to make it permanent and we grew closer together. Found out he's proposing at the end of the year. He let it slip. We also started scuba diving and spearfishing. I am drawing and painting more. To the point I can't wait to get done with work to do more of it. I hadn't ended my first relationship. All in all was a good thing. Also take this silver award cause I like you. My mom and I had an amazing conversation about the past and she actually apologized for her part of the family drama. Misunderstandings hurts. Our mother-daughter relationship is improving. After 3 application cycles and a countless amount of writing and editing, my significant other got off the wait list and into medical school. After about 7 years of struggling with anxiety and depression, I finally have a proper diagnosis. After being treated for the wrong disorder for 2 years. I can finally say fuck you to my former counselors who told me that it was my fault that I wasn't feeling better. Kinda hard to get better when I'm not getting the right treatment. And I'm just so thankful. Some people like me don't start on this journey until they're in their 50s. And I'm not even 20. My grandpa didn't die after multiple heart attacks and survived really hard operation which had 30-40% survive change. He is probably the most important person in my life after my dad. Hey. You love and cherish that man. Okay. My grandfather went through what sounds similar at 82. They gave him a 20% chance of getting off the operating table alive. And 7 years if he did. He lived to nearly 96 and I miss him every day. Give your grandfather a huge hug from someone who really misses theirs. Okay. My grandfather went through what sounds similar at 82. They gave him a 20% chance of getting off the operating table alive, and 7 years if he did. He lived to nearly 96 and I miss him every day. Give your grandfather a huge hug from someone who really misses theirs. Many workplaces had their eyes open to the outmoded tradition of sitting in traffic for hours just to sit at a different internet-enabled computer. Efficiency is up. Communication is up. Productivity is up. Pointless meetings are down. Sick days are actually down. Stress levels are down. So many jobs out there now trying to compete by offering WFH packages. I have had a taste now. I am not going back to the old status quo. FCK commuting. I didn't kill myself. Don't really know if that counts as a good thing for everyone else, but I'm glad I'm still around. Teleworking. I usually traveled about 90 days a year away from family. I was able to spend time with my loving wife and kids and still get everything done that I needed to. We all underestimated the power of telecons. I bought my first home. Got a job with my dream company and my wife and I became certified foster parents. Currently we have a 17-year-old foster son and it's been fantastic and the highlight of the year. Tomorrow I'm flying back to my home country from across the globe to see my 4-year-old son that I haven't seen since September 2019. TikTok was almost banned, but it should have been fully banned. TikTok is a blight on our society. Massively addicting social media platform rotting everyone's brains with monkey see monkey do. I feel guilty as hell but I finally got a teaching job in my dream district. A mile from my house. $12k more a year. I'm HT before. And the kids are super awesomely sweet. My mom has had MS for as long as I can remember and over the last couple of years has been stuck in a wheelchair. All of her doctors assumed it was the MS. But last week she had an MRI and they found a slipped disc in her neck. She's going into surgery next week and they expect her to be walking again in a few weeks. It has been a really good year for video games in a few ways. We have had a lot of really top-notch releases. Doom Eternal, Animal Crossing, Ghost of Tsushima, Half-Life Alyx, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Risk of Rain 2, Spiritfarer, maybe Cyberpunk 2077? On the other hand, we are also seeing more and more of the ugliness of the games industry get exposed. The games industry is really gross, with rampant misogyny, sexual assault, crunch culture, etc. But those things are getting exposure, and hopefully that means we can push towards making the games industry a better place for consumers and developers alike. It's still far from good, but the first step is making everyone aware of the issues. 1 year anniversary with my boyfriend, who also moved to the other side of the world this year. I haven't seen him since June and I won't again until Christmas. So, judges told Trump his lawsuits against swing states that didn't vote his way were frivolous and to pound sand. The school district I work for gave all of its employees a $2,000 bonus for coming back to work during this whole pandemic. I used most of mine to buy the parts for my first gaming PC, hoping to put it together today or tomorrow. Aced my winter semester. Got my learners. Stopped smoking. Will be 5 months on the 24th. And stopped drinking every day. I also managed to stop smoking weed for 7-8 weeks. I'm back on the wagon. However, I don't indulge nearly as much. Spending time with my nieces. Recording myself singing songs and posting them on the quarantine karaoke group on Facebook. Making some cool fun TikTok videos. And the fact that I went to a Halloween party this year and had fun. Haha. I got engaged to the love of my life and my beat friend. My parents are healthy and I have a job to look forward to. I'm grateful for all the things I've taken granted for prior to this. I haven't been working, so I've been able to go on trips with my boyfriend, camping. Found my love of art again. Bought an art tablet with a screen that I've wanted for 10 years. My brother is having a baby next year. My mental health has been great. I've lost 25 ibs. Been able to spend more time with my dog and cat. Planning for my future. Living in a nice 3-bedroom basement suite in a cute neighborhood by myself. I'm a little financially strained. But if I can get that figured out, honestly this year has been not terrible for me. I found out who my friends are. The ones who didn't return calls. Didn't bother trying to keep in touch during lockdown. They're gone. I've no time for people who don't have time for me. Trouble is I have no friends left. I had my sight restored. I was going blind and I had surgery last summer. For the first time in my life I have almost 20/20 vision. Months later. I'm still getting used to it, but it's a miracle in my books. I quit my toxic job about a week ago. I got so tired of the lies, favoritism, and general bullshit. I know every job has its bullshit, but this was getting excessive. I have a job interview Thursday, so hopefully I won't be out of work long. I'm getting therapy for disordered eating. It is the hardest thing I've ever done, which adds to the general feeling of 2020 being a dumpster fire. But I'm excited to go into 2021 with a little less baggage. I was diagnosed with cancer. Really though. 31F with debilitating anxiety, mental fog, immense tiredness, lethargy for over a year with no known cause. OBGYN found a lump in my neck. Lo and behold, stage 2 thyroid cancer. My doctors were the absolute tea and managed to get me the last elective surgery in their NIC hospital as COVID hit. After 2 weeks of recovering I felt like I was a teenager, anxiety back to manageable. Quit drinking. Cut back on smoking, still working on that part. My partner was so happy and inspired that we decided to move in together. Buying a puppy now that I have the energy to take care of one. The undiagnosed cancer was wreaking such havoc in my life that now, fully recovered and healthy, I can't wait for life to get back to normal so I can kick some ass myself. Close bracket. I started dating with my current boyfriend thanks to COVID. We were friends for a few years now. After our uni closed, he helped me buy my very own PC for Zoom. Well, he was really into gaming. And after buying the computer we started playing together. Cute stuff like Minecraft and Overcooked. I loved it. We spent every day playing together and talking about everything. I started thinking about taking the relationship further, but brushed it off, not wanting to be a burden on him and ruin what we had. Then, he confessed. He had a crush on me for all those years. We have been officially dating for a couple of months. What an amazing man I got to know. As my best man at my wedding put it, of course the worst year in memory for most people, you make the best. Married. Had my son. And I'm the happiest I've ever been. And the fascist has lost re-election and the neocons are melting down as I eat popcorn and watch. I became DR. And Ramida 321 in May via virtual PhD defense. It's a PhD in astronomy, so my niece has decided I'm a space doctor. Close bracket. The university I defended at is big on pomp and circumstance, so it's a shame I missed it in person. But they held on to the diploma so we can have a special ceremony with everyone who defended virtually once it's safe to do so. I totally upgraded from amateur to middleweight semi-pro levels in grief, pain, sadness, loneliness, poverty, fear, sickness and mental health problems in 8 months. That's a step up, right? Oh. I lost 20 kilos and still ate a bucket load of marmalade toast. Gorillaz Song Machine. That sh*t started off great and now there's been collaborations with Elton John, Robert Smith, and Beck. I couldn't be more satisfied. I started fostering and spent the summer with my home office full of tiny kittens, one of whom we adopted. She and her brother, we presume, were my first fosters. Found under a shed at 8 weeks old and were just as scared as could be. They hid for the first week basically, and they were only about 1.5 pounds each. With a lot of patience and love I coaxed them out until they were playful and cuddly. Once we introduced them to our cat, it was all over when we saw how they bonded. Our roommate moved out earlier this year, taking her cat with her, and we could see how lonely our boy was. Having a new friend was a breath of fresh air. Today they are both spoiled as hell. Frequently seen curled up together. I frequently say she's the best thing to come out of this year. Released my own version of our school app for the rest of my grade class and got a lot of positive feedback, which helped boost my confidence and in general makes me feel good to know that I improve people's days with my software. I moved out of my homophobic parents' house into my own apartment for the first time. But then, because I lost work due to COVID, ended up spending all my time at my boyfriend's place anyway. And we got closer than ever before. My job used to have me traveling constantly. Now I'm going to move in with him officially, even though I already basically live with him. Also, spurred by my industry shutting down to COVID, I'm going back to school in January and am really excited about it. I've wanted a career change for a while, and now I'm actually going for it. I probably would not have done it had I not lost all my work. I hit 1 year with my partner. I got a new job. I passed my classes this year, so far lol, and my mom met her soon-to-be husband. A lot of really horrible things happened this year, but those are my highlights. My wife and I both retired and moved to a new city a month before shutdown, so pretty high level of isolation. The good news is that we now know for sure that we belong together. Being together 24/7 has been very easy.